It's such a blessing, if I can use that word, to be able to practice together as part of a community. So to start with a guided meditation, well, take a moment to settle in. There's so many different ways to understand that, settle in. One way is to kind of bring our focus, our attention, our awareness more in to this moment as opposed to out other moments, the past, the future. It can be helpful to feel the sensations of this moment, feeling the body, the pressure of the chair or cushion against the body perhaps, the feeling of the feet against the floor or ground, feeling connected to this moment. Perhaps there's pressure against the back if you're sitting in a chair, or of course the back side, sitting on whatever we're sitting on. In some kind of way bringing an aliveness of attention, of mindfulness to this moment. Inhabiting our experience, feeling embodied and alive to the way the body feels right now. It's often helpful to do an easy, relaxed body scan as a way of getting connected, as a way of creating the conditions in which there might be a little bit more ease, softness. Can check in with the face, maybe around the eyes and the mouth. Just feeling in and relaxing, softening, without forcing anything to happen. It's okay if all the tension doesn't go, if relaxation doesn't arise. We're just creating the conditions in which it might. Makes it a little more likely. continuing with the body scan, bringing our attention to the shoulders, arms, hands. Feeling what the hands are touching. Is it soft or rough? Is it cool or warm? The upper back and lower back. The chest and the belly, allowing the belly to relax. And just being with this bodily experience right now. Allowing it, opening to it, welcoming it, receiving it. And then noticing that the body is breathing. It's feeling the sensations of breathing. Feeling the chest move or the belly move, or perhaps the air going in and out of the nose. And then, can we set the sense of direction, the stance, the perspective that we'll take to be one of kindness, warmth towards our experience? Practice can be a movement of kindness, a gift of kindness to ourselves. can we practice with that movement, that sentiment, that intention, rather than beating ourselves up perhaps, but with some warmth, kindness, and care. And then, as part of our exploration this week into inquiry, questioning, we can fold into our practice this relaxed, easy question: what is this? Not so much looking, digging for an answer, but more about opening to the questioning, bringing a freshness to the moment. What is this? Allowing the experience to show itself. In whatever form it shows itself. What is this? And what is this? It might be that we get a little stuck trying to figure it out or get lost in a thought train. It might be helpful to introduce a second question to help broaden, open our experience. What else is here? There's usually the pressure against the body where we're standing or sitting, lying down. There are usually sounds. Can we include these neutral experiences? That most often we're not aware of, as a counterbalance if we get stuck to trying to figure something out or lost. What else is here? So practicing with inquiry, with questioning, by asking, what is this? Can help us connect with our experience, help us have some intimacy with what's happening. And asking the question, what else is here? Can help us get disentangled from our experience if we find that we're stuck or lost in the experience. So these two different questions can be a way that can support our practice. And this can be helpful in meditation as well as when we're in conversation with others or when we're experiencing anything, to help us keep present and balanced with what's happening. So in this way, can our practice support us and then allow us to be of support for others and not to get entangled in a way that's not helpful, to get stuck in a way that isn't onward leading. What is this? What else is here? Good morning. Hello. So to build on the guided meditation, we can use this expression, this inquiry, this questioning, what is this, as a way to bring us to our experience, to kind of get a little more connected if we're not quite connected to our experience. But it might be that when we are inquiring, what is this, we see that we're unsettled, distracted, or restless. Or maybe we see that we're having the same experiences over and over again. Like, oh, I'm doing that story again. Oh, there's that story again. Or maybe obsessing or getting lost in or really tied up and tangled up with a bodily experience. Maybe there's a uncomfortable experience in the knee or the back or whatever it might be. Or maybe this expression that Jack Kornfield sometimes uses, the unfinished business of the heart, comes up. Some of the wounds, some of the difficulties. When we're asking, what is this? We might feel like we're noticing that we're stuck or not connected or lost in a loop. Of course, this isn't so uncommon. This is quite a common experience. But then we can use inquiry as a tool, as a way to help us get unstuck, as a way to support our practice. So asking the question, what is this, could be a practice, and some Buddhist traditions do have that as a key component of their practice, to keep on asking in an open way, not in an obsessive, tight, gotta figure it out kind of way, but in an open, relaxed way. Or maybe you can do mindfulness in the conventional, I'm using the word conventional, commonly taught to rest the awareness on the sensations of breathing. And then to bring inquiry in as a tool, is to add it into the toolkit of the ways that we might work with difficulties. So in this way we can investigate these forces of distraction or agitation or stuckness as a way to understand them more fully and as a way to help bring some balance in. Of course, it's easier to find freedom, to find ease from something when we understand it better. And inquiry can be a way in which we can understand it better. Many of you know that there's this story that happens a number of times in the early Buddhist discourses where Mara, who was the personification of distractions or agitation or temptations or all those forces that get in the way of our mind getting settled and finding our way towards more and more freedom. So Mara shows up to the Buddha in all kinds of different guises. And then the Buddha just says, "I see you, Mara." And then Mara skulks away. So this is a kind of a metaphor of pointing to when we see clearly, when we understand something, often, not always, often it can be resolved or diminish or just go away. So having these forces of distraction or agitation or unfinished business operates in everyone. It's not a personal failing. We don't have to take it personally. Instead, we could use it as a cue to look a little bit closer, as a mindfulness spell, maybe, is to really get curious about what's happening here. And to not look necessarily for quick fixes with the expectation that as soon as we look at it, it's going to go away. Sometimes that happens. But often it doesn't. It's just the beginning of a gentle, warm-hearted inquiry to look carefully and to open to them. For example, by asking, what else is here? So that there's this, if we're having a repeated, I'll use this word difficulty, it most often predominantly arises in one area of our felt experience, the body or the mind, or maybe it shows up as a pressure or some kind of like vague way. For example, there's a lot of sensual desire, may be experienced physically as a kind of like a leaning forward, or often sometimes the chin goes up. Or maybe there's a tightening in the solar plexus with some desire. Maybe energetically, if I can use kind of this vague word, it means like this rush of restlessness, or maybe that gets felt as this upwelling of vitality, or might be a pressure to like do something. There's this kind of vague sense that I have to go get this thing or something. Or maybe strong desire shows up emotionally as an excitement, as an eagerness. Or maybe it shows up as storytelling. It's going to be so great when I finally get to that thing, and then I'm going to be satisfied, and then I'll be happy as soon as I get that. So this is just an example of how strong desire can show up physically, energetically, emotionally, cognitively. But often if there's a feeling of stuckness, we may just be paying attention to one aspect of our experience. So inquiry can open up or make us aware of some other aspects, some other areas to the same experience. And the inquiry could say, what is this? Which might start with maybe noticing the posture is going forward. And then we ask again, what is this? Maybe still noticing the posture is going forward. And then we ask again, and then we might notice, oh yeah, there's this wish to achieve, get, attain, have, obtain something. So maybe by just asking, what is this, repeatedly, the other areas of other aspects of our experience open up, or we notice them or become available. Maybe there might be a wound that shows up. I'll use this word wound. We could use all kinds of different words. Maybe it's a repeated story that comes up. For example, maybe our parents getting divorced when we were young, and this story about what happened to which child. And so we get lost in this story, kind of this repeatedly. Maybe we could open it up to say, well, how does that story feel in the body? Maybe there's a lump in the throat or tightness in the chest. And then, or maybe we can notice like, oh yeah, there's real sadness underneath this story. So by asking or staying with it with a little bit of inquiry, we might become aware of just layers that are underneath what's happening, and then maybe a deeper layer. Often if we find that we're stuck with something, what's going to help it get unstuck is noticing a different aspect or maybe a deeper layer. Often can't get unstuck at that one particular layer, but underneath or more broad. And if we find ourselves stuck in a story, we could ask ourselves, is this true? It's a little bit awkward to ask that question because, of course, we're thinking it, so it's true, but is it? And just to ask ourselves, is this true, with some openness and ease? Is this true? Is this story that I'm telling myself over and over again completely true? So asking what else is here is a way in which we can discover different aspects to one particular experience, but it also can help us if we find that we're really stuck and getting into overwhelm, and we don't want to get into overwhelm. Certainly our capacities are diminished, our best wisdom isn't available to us when we are in overwhelm. So asking what else is here could be a way in which to bring our attention to something neutral, something less emotionally charged, less challenging, less sticky. What else is here can bring our attention to neutral, mundane experiences of feeling the chair or cushion against our body, hearing the sounds. Good one, of course, is feeling our feet on the ground. And just to remind ourselves that there's always a collection, always a myriad of things, a whole host of things that are happening at any moment. And we're choosing to focus on a subset. So can we open up our awareness, maybe receive other experiences, some neutral ones. There might even be areas of our experience that are pleasant. Maybe it feels good to finally sit down and meditate after running around doing lots of other things. So in this way, inquiry, questioning, we could use as part of our toolkit, just to help us discover what's underneath our experience, especially if we have some insistent visitors, some repeat customer, so to speak, some stories, the top 10 hits, right, that we say over and over again, to help us see what's underneath, what's fueling them. If we ask, is this true towards a story, maybe we undermine them, take some of the power out of them. But we could also ask, what else is here, as a way to broaden our experience. So that sometimes we collapse around difficulties or if there's a struggle. So what else is here as a way to broaden and to notice. There's a visual field, there's sounds, there's pressures in the body. So inquiry is a toolkit. So today, as you go about your day, you might just, in a nice, relaxed way, ask yourself, what else is here? It's a way to kind of like open up our experience. What else is here? And I hope that when you ask what else is here, that you find some gentleness, some warmth. Maybe have some warm-heartedness for yourself, and recognizing that practicing in this way is a way to care for yourself. And from that place, can we help support others? What else is here? Because that can be a way that can help us to show up for others in an open, relaxed way. So that our practice can be a benefit not only for ourselves, but for others, and ripples out from there. Thank you.